So it's been great. The quality I was just talking about it. The quality of the interactions is excellent. People are coming who are really committed, very smart, very astute. We are also doing a hackathon at HackNet with some Muriel with Optimum, and I'm really loving the energy. So our hackathon is basically for Optimum, and just to give you a couple of words about where I come from and what I'm doing. I am on leave from MIT, because full time. And at MIT, I hold the NEC chair in software science and engineering, which is a school of engineering like chair, and a full professor like engineering computer science. I've been there for a long time, leading the network cooking and reliable communications group. And that's where I've been co-developing with my group and collaborators the decentralized coding, where coding is not programming, but coding is actually making equations, the manipulation of information to make it robust, efficient, and fast.
Okay. We heard a lot about this conference, all institutions come to this conference, talking about where the party is going, so they will be left out. This is a quick word play. What would you say about Destiny? Are they up for it, the challenge, or will we have some quite challenging moments? You're ahead.
So I think that for any technological system, the way to remain robust is to have the correct modularity. And if you have something that's monolithic, even if that monolithic system is decentralized, so think about it, right? Even if it's decentralized, it's not going to be robust. And so challenges are normal parts of the evolution of any technological system. That if you look at technological systems that have stood the test of time, they've actually embraced decentralization, many not from the beginning, but eventually. Take, for instance, the electric grid. It's not centralized. As a matter of fact, very often when we have failures, it's because of centralization. Take what too? It's not centralized. Again, when we have failures, it's usually because too much is happening, controlled by a single entity. So the decentralization ethos, for some people it's more philosophical, but for me it's just purely pragmatic. It's just something that you need to do so that you can scale. And within that, then you need to have modules that correspond to the different tasks that are happening inside a system. So for instance, new computer does not have a monolithic architecture. Right? It's not that somebody says, oh, well, you need an upgrade for, say, your memory. You have to throw out the computer. You need an upgrade for your operating system, start all over again. It's clear that you have to have modularity. And basically that's what my company does. We create the layer that deals with the Web3 protocol for the data. Okay. And that is going all the way from the propagation of the data, which is ephemeral data, to then the, semi-permanent, think of something like, for instance, a map pool, so the semi-permanent, which would be in your computer something like the read, random access, so read-write, all the way to kernel memory, we give you read-only memory where you write once and read many times, you don't cheat. So that continuum of managing the data in a decentralized way, we believe has to be separate from, say, what virtual machine is using. It has nothing to do with it. In the same way that the computer industry knows that the memory is not tied to a particular operating system, right? If I install Linux on my machine, I don't then have to go and rip out the memory and do something else, right? I would say, what kind of engineer did this? So we should put up with it in Web3 either.
Okay. We hear all of these things. I would get it wrong. And when you compare the European markets to the US market, are we up for the technology? Are we stepping behind? Where do you take this gap is the biggest?
So I think one of the beauties of decentralization is that talent and innovation can disappear every week. as long as they're not, stunted externally, they can appear everywhere. One of the things, for instance, that we do in our project is that we're looking at this decentralized data that we're talking about. We actually do it's a something called Flex Notes. As a matter of fact, right now we have a hackathon going on as we speak. I'll go afterwards and steal some of the candy. But basically what we do is we provide a ability for people in permissionless way to spin up what we call flex nodes. And flex nodes propagating down the road, storing data in a clearly decentralized way using coding that I co-invented, co-developed in my lab in a very robust and secure fashion. So I see these popping up everywhere. So whether it's in Europe, whether it's in US, whether it's in other places, the decentralization aspect really, I think, allows everybody to participate.
So there's no limits, just it has to be on top of the topology and it extend this.
Exactly. Or just go live. We've been doing though in person, office and hackathons, but people spin up a flex node in the hackathon in the first hour. Yeah, it's really, really low barrier to entry. You don't require a huge computer like you would send you run to a validator out, which is a big capex, big opex, investment. And you have to make sure that they're not slashed. So maybe you go into a staking pool to avoid that. But that's also requires some level of sophistication. Instead, you just pop it up, and it could be in the cloud, it could be on your laptop. It's very, very long bit.
And for the end, if it takes a minute, sir, what do we spend for this year to next year to be the biggest thing that will happen in this technology? What do you expect, and what is the obvious breakthrough?
I think it's really hard to do year-to-year predictions. I think that starting from basic principles, it's maybe more sensible to try to do longer-term predictions. Certainly that's my perspective, and maybe to get coming more from the academic side, sort of looking at a longer arc. I think that the decentralization movement, as I mentioned, is not just a philosophical movement. It's actually a technologically necessary movement. And if you look at it that way, then it just happens, right? And the temporary pulls towards centralization are just that. They're temporary, they're just, maybe necessary intermediate steps. And let me just say one word about why. If you have a centralized system, you need to keep track of state. You need to keep track of what everybody is doing. And then all you do in your network is trying to control the nets. All the information is just about controlling the nets. And then you don't have space to do the actual useful work that, you set up the system to do in the first place. So that decentralization, to me, is coming. And, there may be bumps around the road, along the road, which is like, on year, 2 years, 5 years, who knows. But the direction is fairly navigable, because otherwise it will fail. It's just a fragility aspect.
And that's interesting. We'll be here to monitor, to write about it, so be sure you read this.
I definitely shall. It has been a pleasure. Thank you so much. Thank you.